Welcome back, everyone. I hope it has been a productive day for you. How about that Adam Braun? Yeah? How about John Legend? Pretty amazing. I know it's been a very productive day for me. Make sure that you make your way to the back of the room for beverage and snacks. These have been provided by Farm Credit Services. Many thanks to them for looking out for our energy levels this afternoon. I will now turn it over to entrepreneur, chamber board member, community builder, and co-founder of Silicon Prairie News, Jeff Slobotsky.
Thank you. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? Good, come on. That's better. This table is ready to present, so I'm really excited for what we're going to see here in just a couple minutes. As Megan said, I'm Jeff Slobotsky, co-founder of Silicon Prairie News. For those that don't know, we are a website and digital media company here in Omaha. Our goal is really to highlight and dedicate our time and resources to the entrepreneurs, the investors, the mentors, the folks within our city and our region that are pushing good things forward around technology and entrepreneurship. So thrilled to be here, thrilled to be the MC and moderator for this good crew that we have coming up here in just a bit. As we know, this year's summit has been all about transformation and engaging with co-creators, right? And the word co-creator can take many different forms. So that means entrepreneur, that means artist, that means musicians, that means just general citizens in the community, right? You don't have to have a title. You don't have to necessarily have, a deep resume in terms of what you've done, but you have to have a passion for the city, right? And so I think that we've heard through the breakout sessions as well as the speakers, both Adam as well as John, it's about getting engaged. It's about making a mark, making a difference, leaving a legacy. So this next group of 7 presenters is part of a larger community of those that are actively engaged to create the experiences that many of us are involved in and familiar with on a daily basis. They're living out the values of the Greater Omaha Young Professionals by being inclusive, innovative, as well as collaborative on a daily basis. These co-creators are invested in improving not only our neighborhoods, but our city, and I say the region as well. There's a concept that I'm passionate about around this idea that focuses on how do you take somebody from being a consumer of a city, right? So of the resources, of the relationships, the friendships, the jobs, and how do you turn them into a creator and a contributor, right? And so these 7 folks have done that, and many of you in the room have done that as well. So as you can imagine, trying to describe these folks' journeys can take hours, probably days for some of them if they wanted to, right? But we've asked them to tell their story in a 20 by 20 format. So what that means is they each get 20 slides to tell their story in 20 seconds. So what you get to experience is a short, concise, great little presentation of what they're doing, and kind of learn more about how they're pushing things forward in Omaha, in the community, and in the city. So with that, I'd like to introduce the first of our 7 today, Brigitte McQueen Shue. Brigitte has her fan club with her here today. So let's welcome her to stage. Big YP welcome, Brigitte. So I'm going to read the official bio, and then Brigitte and everybody else is going to take it away and tell their real story about what they're doing. Brigitte is originally from Detroit. She earned a degree in journalism from St. John's University in New York City. She has worked in advertising as a pastry chef, spent 10 years in publishing, as well as owned her own business before she moved into nonprofit work. She's currently the executive director of the Union for Contemporary Art, doing amazing work, committed to strengthening the creative culture of the whole city by providing direct support to artists and increasing the visibility of art forms in our community. So with that, let's give another welcome for Brigitte. She'll take it away.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, all right, here we go. Who am I? When Lonnie asked me to be a co-creator for the summit and asked me to give this speech about my transformative journey, how I got to be the person that I am today, it gave me pause and made me ask, who the hell am I anyways? Why is my journey any more inspiring or more meaningful than anyone else's? Why should a few hundred young professionals want to listen to someone talk about how they literally threw away a promising career in publishing and a life in New York City to follow some crazy dream? Who am I? I am a journalist, a pastry chef, a curator, a florist, a balloon sculptor, an entrepreneur. I am an artist, an art patron, an educator, a mentor, a vegetarian, an environmentalist. I am a collector of Super Balls, a lover of stray dogs, a wife, daughter, sister, and friend. I have been incredibly successful, and I have been a massive failure. I am an advocate. I am a community activist. But above all that, I'm a dreamer. I am a dreamer of big, fat, glorious, often outrageous dreams. But big whoop, aren't we all? And then it clicked. Who am I? I am a dreamer of big, fat, glorious, often outrageous dreams who acts on them. When I was 18, I left the suburbs of Detroit for the big city. I moved to New York, got a degree in journalism, and pretty much right after graduation, landed what I thought to be the best job in the world. I was working for Time Inc. as part of a launch team for a new magazine called Teen People, and I thought I was living the dream. I was doing press junkets with Justin Timberlake. I was rolling through the streets of Brooklyn in a limo, interviewing a diamond-encrusted LL Cool J. It was like Sex and the City, but with less drama and a lot more diversity. It was also 10 years of grueling deadlines, catty office politics, lots of bad music, even worse fashion, and very little personal growth. Towards the end of that decade, I moved to Omaha completely on a whim and quickly realized that I had made a huge mistake. Oh my God, I hated it here. Not because it couldn't compare to the glitz and glamour of New York, but because of the overwhelming segregation that exists in this city. I went from a community that was completely diverse, where inclusivity thrived, to a city where I was often asked what I was, where I was often the only person of color in every room that I went into. Strangers would grab handfuls of my hair without asking, just because they were curious about how it felt. I hated Omaha because I felt like Omaha hated me, that it hated people who looked like me, that it had tucked us away to the north and south into neighborhoods that were ghosts of what they had once been, where we were free to destroy each other with guns, drugs, and despair. I could not embrace a city that could not embrace me. After 2 years here, I ran away to Seattle. While I was in Seattle, I went to culinary arts school. I made lots of friends. I was living in a thriving, diverse community. I was happy. But I kept thinking about Omaha. I kept thinking about the people that I loved here. I kept thinking about the arts community that I admired here. And it tugged at me. And after 3 years in Seattle, I decided that I had left Omaha for the wrong reasons, that I had a responsibility to go back and change the things that made me uncomfortable, because the things that I loved here were more important than the things that made me feel less than wonderful inside, for lack of a better way to put it. So I came back, and it was the best move I ever made. In 2017, People was dying a slow, horrible death. When the HR department finally called to tell me that the magazine was finished, they made me an offer. I could move back to New York City and be placed with another publication, or I could take a severance package and stay in Omaha. I chose Omaha. That decision changed the entire course of my life. Sorry. When I tell most people that I left a job in publishing making just shy of 6 figures to open a stationery shop/gallery space, they usually laugh nervously until they realize I'm not joking. But that's exactly what I did. I took every penny I owned, spent months renovating a little shop space in Benson, and opened Pulp in the winter of 2007. I'd never owned a small business before. I knew nothing about art. It was just a dream, and I made it happen. But every once in a while, even the most amazing dreams turn into nightmares. When the recession hit and people stopped spending money, I stopped making money. 2009 was the worst year of my life. I lost everything I had, not just the money that I invested in Pulp, but I lost my home, I lost my car, I lost my savings, I lost everything. I was devastated and I was destroyed, to the point that I still can't drive down the street that my old house was on because it shakes me to my core. In the midst of that, a woman told me that what had happened for a reason, that it was the universe's way of clearing a path for me, that it was removing all of the distractions so that I could be who I was really meant to be. And that was my moment of transformation. That was the moment that I realized who I really am and what I'm really capable of doing. I love this community. And every day I get up and I work to make this community better. And it's terrifying. I freak out on a daily basis, but I do the work because it's important work to do. I have conversations with people all the time who ask me, what am I supposed to do? How can I make a difference? Do I expect you to quit your job and start a nonprofit and live the life that I've lived and follow your dream? I would love it if you would do that, but I'm realistic in knowing that many of you will not. But there's so much that you can do. Your transformation can transform your community. If you don't know what to do, find the crazy dreamer people and support them. Support your local nonprofits, buy local art, shop at small businesses, give back how you can. Every little bit matters. It truly does. We're all co-creators, every single one of us. I hope that you'll accept that challenge and do a little something to help uplift this community. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Good work. So you can see what we have in store. Thanks, Brigitte. That's awesome. Next up, second co-creator, Django Greenblatt C. Django, come on up. So Django's name you may or may not know, but the work definitely, I think many people know the videos that he has done, and really, I think the community that you've created through Love Drunk. And officially have worked with, I think, over 100 video sessions for a bunch of independent bands, all for free, right? They've took the tour through 25 cities, 14 states, and have got over 500,000 views on the videos that they've created. And I think that it's just the start of what's still yet to come. So let's give another welcome for Django.
I never see myself on camera. That's weird. All right, so my name's Django, and I work at Omaha Public Power District. I'm a corporate communicator there. I've been there for about 7 years, and I really like my job. It's really great to be able to say that. One of the things I like about my company is that they're very supportive of what I'm passionate about outside of work. For me, that's Love Drunk. Love Drunk is a live one-take music video project. We shoot bands performing where they normally don't. So in this little presentation, I'm surprised I haven't, yeah, I am screwing up. So anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys how we do it and why it's important. So first we start by finding a band that we really like, and we convince them to play a song that we really like in a weird location. So we take a 16-channel recording studio, and it's mobile. I can put it in my car, and we bring it to this location, we set it up, and we have the band perform one song. And so when the audio is ready to go, we have to make sure that our camera shots look good. We need to make sure that the people shooting are in a position to succeed. So a typical crew is about 5 or 6 camera operators, and it's just people I bump into that have a DSLR and they say, hey, I want to get involved, and I just invite them. And I say, okay, you can do it for free, that's cool. That's Matt and Ben in a house that this guy, this songwriter, Talking Mountain has. He painted his living room like that, it's kind of cool. So when we get done with a shoot, which takes about 3 hours, that's when the real work begins. What you're looking at right now is what I look at when I mix audio for the band. So we can isolate like the bass guitar and the electric guitar and the drums, so we can have a lot of control and get the best sound that we can, because that's very important to the bands. So when we're done mixing the audio, we bring it into our video editor. The pair of green lines, the stereo green lines on the bottom, is audio, and all the blue lines are camera shots. So we sync it up so that in the end, what you're listening to and what you're watching are both happening in real time. So when we're done with the videos, we put them up on lovedrunkstudio.com and on our social media channels. This would be a good time to pull out your phone and go like us on Facebook. And a lot of regional and national blogs pick up our videos from time to time. Not enough, in my opinion. And what's really important for us is herenebraska.org. How many of you are familiar with Here Nebraska? Woo. They're awesome. It's this local nonprofit music journalism website. If you want to know more about Here Nebraska, go to the Slowdown after Jocelyn tonight, because their founder is going to give one of these talks about here in Nebraska tonight. So I think it's pretty obvious like why bands can benefit from these videos. It's a promotional tool, but I think it also benefits the casual music listener that doesn't have a lot of time to go seek out bands that they want to listen to, right? So you're stuck listening to bands like Mumford & Sons, which is cool. It's a great band, right? I agree. Mumford & Sons is good, but it takes a lot of money and a lot of publicists, managers, and record labels to take a really good band and put them on a Grammy-winning level of success. That's not the only type of music you can like. If you like Mumford & Sons, I'm willing to bet that you'll probably like bands like Frontier Ruckus. Frontier Ruckus is doing very well, obviously not Mumford & Sons well, but they're a great band. And if you go see Frontier Ruckus play in Omaha, it'll cost you $7. When Mumford & Sons comes to town, it's $35. So it's economical too. We've shot a few videos with this band. They're really great. They just flew to Europe yesterday to go, I think they're doing 20 dates there. And I think you should just bear with me, hop on our website, get on YouTube, watch a couple Frontier Ruckus videos. It's just my example of how your musical palette is finer than just the music that's really easily accessible over the radio or MTV and that kind of thing. So when bands want to expand their reach, and believe me, they do, they want all of you to listen to them and love them, they tour. So like Jeff said, we want to expand the reach of the bands that we work with, so we tour. We hop into this 15-passenger, broken air conditioner, fart box of a van, and we travel the country. What you're looking at right now are dates from our 2011 tour and cities we went to. You know, we roll into a city, we set up, we shoot a band, we get done, we say goodbye, pick up dinner, get back in the van, start mixing audio, editing video, writing blog posts. It sucks, but it's awesome. What you're looking at right here is our 2012 tour dates. We went last May, and we went about 4,000 miles, and Angie Norman, who is the third picture from the right, drove every single mile. And she learned how to mic a drum kit and run audio. It was awesome. So we love doing this, obviously. We do it for free. I use my corporate day job vacation time to do this, and I use my corporate day job paycheck to fund it. Sometimes we do fundraising stuff to afford to do the tours, but this is about passion and this is about inspiration. I don't know how inspiring I am, but I know that I'm inspired, and I'm inspired by other people who do similar stuff to me. And I think that's what's really important, is just find something that you're into, somebody that does something similar, somebody that's into the same type of stuff, and just get inspired, because inspiration is fleeting, but it's fucking awesome. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and don't tell my boss that it's cussing on here, okay? Thanks.
Well said. Django, good job. Awesome. Well said, Django. I think Django and then Brigitte hit it as well, right? It's getting behind folks that are doing it, right? Either creating your own thing or getting behind others. So whether that's arts, whether that's music, whether that's entrepreneurship. So the next gentleman I'm excited about as well, Mr. Michael Young. Come on up, Michael. Got you. He's a dancer by trade. Michael's born and raised in Omaha. He emancipated himself at age of 14, received his first tech job for the city of Omaha at age 15, and then went on to create Q3 Systems, which is almost 5 years old now. He loves to put technology in people's hands, and his two passions, which I think he's going to share a little bit more about, are teaching youth about empowerment and ownership, as well as motorcycles. He did try to get his motorcycle on the stage, but I think they said no. So with that, let's welcome Michael to the stage.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you all can hear me okay. This is a little new for me to talk about my story, so I'm going to open up for me personally, and I might get a little choked up. But as you can see this picture here, that's it. That is January 14th, 1983. This little guy came home, and I can't say I'm little anymore, but I don't have a whole bunch of pictures of my childhood. It was pretty interesting, but life moved on. And my first day of school, I went to Walnut Hill Elementary School. Go Cougars, if I have anybody who knows where Walnut Hill is. And sadly enough, later that year, you can see me and my afro and me and my dad playing Heat. He passed later that year. And it's a little tough thing for me to talk about, but it's a part of my journey. And you can see here, I've got Howard Kennedy I went to field club. I was a Norris Junior High Redbird. I was a Falcon, but unfortunately many times in my life I lived in a lot of homeless shelters and led off a lot of state of assistance, which was tough growing up, not being a cool kid and being persevered. But to help out with bills, I got my first job, which I was delivering papers in Omaha World Herald, and I had $50 like every 2 weeks, and I thought I was a millionaire. $50 as a third grader is awesome. But there just comes a time where you have to take ownership in your life, and that's what I had to do at home. But the good news is I always wanted to be a doctor growing up. I wanted to be a cardiologist. My father passed away of an aneurysm, so I wanted to learn more. But University of Nebraska had this great program called Explorers Post, and I won a slight award there for lots of fun things in cardiology. But I always got technology, which is funny. And so on a whim, I went to Creighton Prep, took their entrance exam, aced it, and was given a full academic scholarship. And you can see that little trout there. I lived on 35th and Leavenworth, and I had to ride my bike out there, which is 74th and Western, because I wanted to eat. It was either ride the bus or pick food to eat because it was catered in, and we didn't have enough money to do both. But so here you can see when I was 14, I got in a bike accident. I caused an accident on 42nd and Dodge at 8:30 a.m., and I was hit almost by a MAP bus, and now I'm the chairman of that board, which I thought is funny. At full circle, it's come back, but I love the bus. So the expression "throw me on the bus" is tough. But as Joseph said, at the age of 15, I got my first job, IT job, for the city of Omaha in a public computer use program downtown at the library, teaching Oregon Trail and setting up Yahoo accounts and Mavis Beacon, if anybody knows what I'm talking about there. And it was interesting. It was empowering to people to see. For something to me that was an innate ability, I enjoyed it. But again, at the age of 14, I emancipated myself. I was free. My life had become something that I no longer wanted, and education was always a way that I thought I was going to break this cycle. And so I stayed true to that. No matter of the adversity I had to come through, education was key. So being emancipated, I moved to Shawnee Mission, Kansas, and you can see Backstreet Boys were big then. Blonde hair, gold hoops. I mean, what is going on with this guy, right? So I enjoyed it, but I was a sophomore, and it was interesting to live in a different place. I went to a different high school at a different year in a different state every year. And here I'm actually in Springfield, Ohio, where our former big speaker spoke today. I had met him, and he was a very small guy at the time. And it's a little small town. So imagine a biracial child who drives a Trans Am with blonde hair and gold hoops in a little tiny town. It didn't work out too well, but it was unique. And then I moved back, attended Omaha Bryan, played football, working for Cox Communications and Quest at the time as a fiber optic provisioner, still thinking I'm going to go into pre-med, but I had to work full-time, and technology was pretty interesting. So as I went on to college, I finally understood, all right, we're going to get this. I'm not going to become a cardiologist. I'm going to go into IT. I'm going to build networks. I get it. The jobs are great. I'm getting paid now, right? Why not continue to do that? And it was a tough transition because I'm giving up what I thought was my whole entire life of focus. So in 2004, I started a little company on 6605 Maple Street down in Benson called Omaha PC Help. And I was the computer guy. And all I did was work on little basic computers and tech support, things like that. But it was interesting. It was my first attempt. Didn't last too long. As my ex-wife, we lost our first child, my angel Lindsay, excuse me. And at this point in my life, you see here Muhammad Ali on this screen, I got tired of getting knocked down. You get up, you can feel like a rope-a-dope, but damn it, you just don't give up. And I don't care what type of levels you have. And that's what I want to show people. And then in 2005, October 21st, the love of my life was born, Jaden Michael. Look at that kid. And that's when I knew inside me, I can do something like this. No matter what has happened, no matter what's gone on, no matter your circumstances, you are able to own your own life. And I felt this inner being, this peace, this final calm inside me that, I don't regret my life. I don't regret my path. I don't regret being an adult at 14 years old thinking I knew everything in life, but it was better than what I had. And I finally took this pure ownership of my life, of the things that I wanted to do, the things I wanted to see. I started this group I took over this group called Next Generation Omaha. We were a community outreach. The Omaha World Herald started writing these stories about me and says, if you need red tape cut, he's the man with scissors. And I thought, who is this guy they're writing about? I have no idea who this man is. But I continued to be busy. I sat on the board of Butler Gast YMCA. I worked with Next Generation Omaha, Urban League of Nebraska. I now chair the board of Metro Transit Authority. And I was awarded the MBJ's award of 40 under 40 in 2009. And I thought, wow, can life be this good? Can I really just take ownership with that? So if I can ask anything for you guys to take from here is if you please find any cup on your table, raise it up, and understand that no matter what's going on the outside of that, we're almost all identical. And on the inside, take a sip of what you have inside of you. Sometimes you need to fill that cup back up. Sometimes you need it to take some out. But other than that, live your life. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Good job. So next up, thank you. We've got Mike Battershell. For those folks that don't know Mike, he's a community activist focused on bringing engagement through having all conversations around the table. He's tirelessly worked for many different nonprofits and issues and causes in our city. And he sports a really, really mean goatee around wintertime as well. So with that, let's welcome Mike to the stage, please.
So my whole life, I've been fucking angry, right? So in the 8th grade, I wrote a letter to the editor and said, McDonald's is giving away trees while serving food in styrofoam. What the hell is going on? Right? So that's 8th grade. Then in high school, I spent my entire sophomore year in in-school suspension. That's me in the middle with no hair and the middle finger up. That's right. Followed by that same principal, 2 years later, I staged sit-ins to stop him from being fired because he was giving me the love that I needed and the structure. See, my perception was they were fucking lying to me. I was staring at their reality and expected to have it be my own. And I said, I'm in charge. I get to change it. I get to do what I want to do with my reality. So I spent years doing things the wrong way. Sort of. Maybe not. I have tripped and fallen and pissed people off. There are probably people in this room who still wouldn't talk to me if I saw them, right? Can I get a round of applause? Because when you're passionate about an issue, you should say something about that issue. If you hate the sidewalk in front of your house, you can fix it. You don't have to wait for anyone else to fix it. That's Colin. It's his fault I'm here. We can talk about that afterwards. But the point is that the perception is that our reality is based in what we know. But when we come together as a community and we sit around a table, we all have different skills. I'm really good at agitating. I'm really good at profanity. I'm really good at punk rock. I'm pretty good at my job. So I build those bridges.